604 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane off and running, or will be as soon as I can remember my password. There we go. Mornings with Brian Haldane off and running. Oh man, what just happened last hour? Like this nasty little storm just whipped through downtown. That was wild.
I mean, in and out quick.
It was out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And then like Kaiser Soze, he was gone.
Love that.
Anyway, you heard the full forecast from McCade Cowan. That's what we're looking at for moving forward. Right now, we're starting you off at 68 degrees in downtown Baton Rouge. We got a busy show lined up for you today. We got a cup of tech gumbo coming your way. We're going to hear from our old friend Scotty Drake in a little bit. We got Jason DeCuir from Advantage Consulting. We got Crimestoppers. We're going to talk with the head of the Louisiana Dental Association because there's a state legislator that wants to get rid of fluoride. And Hillar Moore could be back in the house before the show is over with as well. So let's get rolling. Top stories and trending. Let's get it.
Number 5.
So number 5 starts us off with more follow-up from the Amazon shooting the other day. Our news partners at WBRZ reporting that Baton Rouge police arrested 18-year-old, I'm going to pronounce this, Kerrigan Nash, after being accused of killing a 21-year-old outside that Cortana Amazon facility. Nash turned himself in yesterday morning after an argument led to him shooting and killing his former coworker, 21-year-old Dalen Anthony, late Monday night. It's just quite the anomaly as from the time that Amazon is open, which really wasn't that long ago till now. It's been quiet, to be sure.
Number 4.
Magnolia Ridge Logistics Park is coming soon in Geismar. Magnolia Ridge is going to feature 18 industrial lots ranging from 2 to 20 acres, purpose-built for distribution centers, light manufacturing, and industrial laydown areas. Locations can be off of Highway 30. It was chosen to support both the industrial network along the Mississippi River and bulk distribution needs for Baton Rouge and New Orleans. Construction is scheduled to begin on May 7th.
Number 3.
A federal judge has sentenced a longtime lawyer and lobbyist to 5 years in prison after he pleaded guilty to possessing more than 550 images of child pornography. 70-year-old James Berland must also pay $5,000 under the Justice for Victims of Trafficking Act and register as a sex offender.
Number 2.
One person was injured in a shooting at the Reserve at White Oak apartment complex off South Harold's Ferry. The person was taken to the hospital in serious condition. Another person was shot at this complex Monday night. No word yet as the two incidents are connected.
Number 1.
The first planned Baton Rouge 3 public meeting was held last night at the Louisiana Arts and Science Museum downtown. It was standing room only in the presentation part of the meeting. And then everybody got up, moved over to the next room, and looked at all the different opportunities for feedback. You had maps of downtown asking what's needed, what's good, what's working, what needs work, what has potential. The feedback portion was quite popular. A lot of conversation going on too. It was just the first meeting though, so there will be more to come. What's trending, John?
Well, the Chinese government published a report on the COVID pandemic Wednesday, claiming that the pandemic causing coronavirus originated in the U.S., not China, as most believe.
Ah, yes, the old "I'm rubber, you're glue" defense.
Yes. Of course, the White House put out a report a couple weeks ago, the lab leak, which is found on the White House's website.
You mean the lab leak from the virus center in Wuhan?
Yeah.
It's just it's so stupid.
Oh man.
Well, I don't know why China, why rip the scab off the wound? We're all moving on at this point.
Right.
We're all more interested in the trade war. Don't remind us of the other you've done.
Yeah.
And by the way, nobody believes you.
Right. That's another thing. Oh man.
I just, that's the real Ron Burgundy moment.
Yeah.
I don't believe you.
I don't. And that's enough. Hey, Marjorie Taylor Greene doubled down on social media tirade yesterday, claiming that Catholic bishops are controlled by Satan. Marjorie Taylor. All right.
Controlled by Satan.
Controlled by Satan.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I have many
There's
things. So here's the problem, right?
Okay.
We're just fresh off of Easter. We're still in the
Yes.
octave of Easter. We're coming off a Divine Mercy Sunday last week. Like, it just the want to respond, would send me to confession.
Yeah.
I'm just literally just died for our sins not long ago. Like, where I don't know how to muster the level of anger.
Yeah.
At the same time, don't know how to squash the level of anger. She's off her butt. That's the problem. That's all right.
Forgiveness, grace, mercy, right?
That's what we're hoping for here. Yup.
In other news, the Atlanta Falcons have been fined $250,000, and defensive coordinator Jeff Ulbrich has been fined $100,000 as a result of Ulbrich's son participating in a prank call to Shadar Sanders during the NFL draft.
So, Shador. $350,000 prank call. And the guy didn't even do a good impression of Mickey Loomis. He basically just did his own voice.
Yeah, come on.
You know, he didn't smack gum on the phone. He didn't run afoul of the salary cap during the call. Okay,
That's
so
a little much, isn't it?
I was as watching the draft, every pick that went by and Shador Sanders didn't go, I'm just sitting there kind of laughing it off.
Yeah.
Because he's probably going to end up being a talented NFL quarterback. But there's something to say for humility.
Right.
And he has none. He's Deion's kid. Of course he's not going to be humble at all. But there's something to be said for humility. And every pick that went by, it's like, okay, you kind of built, your hubris built this thing to where it is right now. Now, that being said, this prank call, that's just wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy's watching his future crumble in front of his face. If for no other reason, the first contract out the blocks is going to be so much less valuable now than it would have been had he been taken on day one or even day two. And to watch, he's watching his future crumble in real time and then having somebody pile on. I mean, that's kicking a man while he's down right there. As there's limits and levels, man.
So the point is, was it worth it?
$350,000.
Was it worth it?
Yeah. Hope you enjoyed that. All right, that's a look at what's trending. That's a look at your top stories. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we got LSU softball going to be playing tonight. We got LSU basketball added another man to the roster. And, oh, my goodness, did you see what happened in Pittsburgh? Absolutely horrifying scene. We'll talk about all those next. No. I didn't even look. Was there anything worthwhile in the... No. Oh, last time I had Bill Cassidy on, I asked him about whether or not the voting to impeach Trump was water under the bridge at this point. How do you move forward?
Yeah.
I pulled a cut from that.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. Like the day after or something. Thank you.
Was it the original one that when he came on the 21st saying that we're focused on the future?
Yeah, something like that.
Is
Yeah.
that the one? So that was the 21st. Let's see. Oh yeah, I dubbed those. I didn't know which ones you wanted, so I did Trump's and Cassidy's from the email you sent. I just put them in.
There was a Cassidy one too. That 38-second Trump.
Yeah, I got that
clip
one.
That's the one I want.
Oh, okay, I got that one, and then I think Cassidy might have responded with like an 18-second video.
I didn't even see that part.
Oh, really? Yeah, it was at the bottom. I took it just in case. Let's see.
We got time to listen to it ahead of time.
Okay.
616 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. 11 and a half hours from right now. We'll take to the airwaves on the LSU Sports Radio Network for LSU versus Arkansas in softball. Tigers are on the road this weekend. Thursday, Friday, Saturday set. 6 p.m. is your first pitch. 5:45 is pregame right here on Talk 107.3 FM. Patrick Wright will be on the call. You got a 6 p.m. first pitch tonight, 6 p.m. first pitch tomorrow night, 1 p.m. start time, 1 p.m. first pitch on Saturday, as this is the last SEC series for Beth Torina's Tigers before heading to the Southeastern Conference tournament next week. That tournament, we're going to wait and see where the bracket lays out before we can start to announce game times and whatnot. But then after that, you got the SEC tournament, you got the NCAA Regional, NCAA Super Regional, and then the Women's College World Series in Oklahoma City will be at the end of May, beginning of June. And this LSU softball team, I mean, they're in solid position right now, as far as just the way the team looks. 39-11 overall. I mean, started off the season super hot, but they play in what is unequivocally the toughest conference in the country. I mean, you're talking about with the SEC. Just as a perfect example, this Tigers team is 39-11 overall. They're 11-10 in conference play. They've only got one non-conference loss on the season. By the way, this Tiger team is 30-4 at home, 5-7 on the road. As far as Arkansas is concerned, let's move over to the other side here to get a look at what we are up against this weekend. Going on the road to Arkansas to end the dadgummit. My apologies, y'all. This is not going where I needed to go. My computer's not playing along this morning. I was supposed to just move over and look at another page here and cannot access said page. Tell you what, while I'm waiting on this to reload, let me move over and just to keep things moving. Let me move over to, did you see what happened in Pittsburgh last night? Bottom of the seventh inning. Pirates fans are celebrating an RBI double by Andrew McCutchen. And then a dude falls out the stands in right field onto the warning track. Like falls onto the field. And you're like, oh, that can't be all that bad. He's just over the outfield fence, right? No. They've got a 21-foot wall in right field. 21 feet, of course, the most famous Pittsburgh Pirate ever, Roberto Clemente, was number 21, so it's in his honor. But that's a 21-foot fall. Guy was removed on a stretcher. No word on his well-being at this point. We haven't seen anything further reported at the time, and they had to stop the game to take him off on a stretcher. It was a scary, scary scene last night, to be sure. Okay, back to it. LSU, Arkansas softball. The Razorbacks are 12-9 in conference play. So LSU is going into they've got a road series against a team that is slightly better record-wise than they are right now. It should be a battle, an absolute battle this weekend. It's 6:20. Here's the Fox Business Report on Talk 107.3 FM. How are you, sir?
Yeah, 21-foot fall, huh?
Yeah.
It looks last it was updated was an hour ago. Of course, critical condition, but that's the last. Yeah, that's the last one. Dang.
I fell at the stands at the Pirates game last night in right field where they got that 21-foot wall onto the warning track. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Oh, who cares? It's the Pirates. That's true. How does the Scotty Drake interview start? Perfect. That's all I need to know. Couldn't remember if I was supposed to air this yesterday and didn't. Is it still raining out there? Awesome. That just whipped right through here and moved on. All right. No. All right, let's go ahead and get you started. About half an hour ago, an accident was reported on I-10 westbound at westbound near Acadian, or actually, I should say in between Acadian and the 10-12 split. While that accident was reported about a half an hour ago, there is nothing showing on the map as far as delays are concerned. Now, if you back up to 12 westbound near Range Avenue, you're going to find your normal delays back there, but they clear up well before the 10-12 merge. So if it's out there, be on the lookout for it, but I'm not showing anything as a result of it. 10 westbound near Acadian. The rest of your interstate systems are looking great to start off your morning. That storm that whipped through looks like it has moved on there. So nice of that to happen before the thick of morning drive. Surface Streets, one accident to look out for. That is Chippewa at Lupine. That is your look at traffic from the Shopwell Star Traffic Center. Well, the calendar has rolled over. It is, of course, May, and May is Motorcycle Safety and Awareness Month, which means we get to call on our good old friend Scotty Drake. How are you, brother?
I'm doing very well, Brian. How about you?
Doing all right, man. Doing all right. So, Motorcycle Safety and Awareness Month. It is about that time as it is each and every year. Tell us all about why we have Motorcycle Safety and Awareness Month to begin with.
Well, the thing is, all too often at the scene of a crash in which a motorist has violated the right-of-way of a motorcyclist, all too often we hear the same thing, and that is, officer, I just didn't see the motorcycle. Okay, we get it. We're small. But the thing is, all too often we don't see what we're not actively looking for. Let me give you an example. You're driving in your car, you're driving in your truck, and there are certain things that you are actively looking for. You've bundled them all together, and you're looking for stop signs, and you're looking for traffic lights, you're looking for the name of your street, you're looking for children and dogs, you're looking for crosswalks. All of these things are bundled together, and you're actively looking for them. You're looking for oncoming traffic, traffic behind. But if motorcycles are not in that bundle of things you're actively looking for, there is a greater chance that you won't see it until it's too late. And that's really the entire crux of the motorcycle awareness campaign. We do what we can to make drivers more aware that we're out there, to actively watch for motorcycles.
I think actively is the word that we're looking for here,
Yeah.
Scotty, because I mean, we all know you're out there, right?
Right.
But it's a matter of, with everything we've got going on individually, whether you're talking about the appointment we're headed to or the appointment we just left, or the soccer practice, basketball practice, whatever, it's that actively, it's making sure it stays top of mind.
Exact top of mind. That's exactly the phrase that we're looking for. We got to bring it into the forefront and make sure that you bundle that into all the other things that you're actively looking for. Now, to that end, if you got a minute or two,
Yep.
The Motorcycle Awareness Campaign, or MAC, as we are affectionately called, we're having a motorcycle awareness ride and rally. All right, it's the very beginning of Motorcycle Safety and Awareness Month. We're having a big rally. It's going to be Saturday, May 3rd, Indian Motorcycles of New Orleans. Now, that's on East Airline Highway in St. Rose.
Mm-hmm.
They got a great big place for us to have this entire big event, and everybody is invited, whether you're on 2 wheels, 3 wheels, 4 wheels, doesn't matter. Come join the fun, free of charge, live music, free food, vendors, bike games, a slow ride competition, and they're going to be a total of $2,500 in cash prizes. And one of the things that we're going to have, and this is the very first time MAC has done this, we're going to have a bike show. You come to our event on Saturday, Indian Motorcycles of New Orleans,
Mm-hmm.
show your bike, and it costs absolutely nothing to enter. So if you've got a custom, or if you've just washed your bike and it's all shiny and new looking, come and join us. Come and show your bike. This is going to be a People's Choice bike show. There's going to be 3 cash prizes. Third place, $100. Second place, $150. And the first place, $250. All of this in cash. Again, no entry fee. Come show your bike, or come look at all the other bikes that other people are showing. So we want as many people as we can at our bike show. Again, it's going to be Saturday, Indian Motorcycles of New Orleans on East Airline Highway in St. Rose. Everybody is invited, and I certainly hope that your listeners, because I know you have a lot of motorcycle enthusiasts who listen, come and join us.
He is Scotty Drake. The website, by the way, macorg.com. If you want to learn more about the motorcycle awareness campaign, macorg.com is the home base for that. Scotty, safe drive down to St. Rose on Saturday, and I appreciate a couple minutes this morning.
Thank you very much.
628 to Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Always love getting caught up with my with a good old friend, Scotty Drake. Scotty is a longtime jock on Eagle, and he's an avid motorcyclist. I pre-recorded interview. I do like to give that clarification whenever we have something that isn't live. I got caught up with Scotty earlier this week, it's always an important distinction when talking about motorcycles, because I know, because Haggai's sitting right next to me and he said the exact same thing. Every time we talk about motorcycle safety, someone brings up, well, you got to stop them from zipping in and out of traffic. Well, let's remember there's different qualifications here, different classifications here. The guys on the Harleys, they're not your problem. The guys on the little crotch rockets, that's your problem. And we do need to look out for all of them as best we can, either way, even when, they are zipping in between lanes to get up to the front of the red light to get a jump start on everybody. So anyway, Always appreciate Scotty Drake. Always nice to get caught up with him. We got Cup of Tech Gumbo coming your way in just a little bit. We got lunch coming up later on today. If you don't have your lunch plans yet, check out PF Chang's if you don't mind. Whole new revamped menu. I've been telling you about the black pepper chicken is ridiculous. Of course, the sesame beef also off the chain. Also, got to remind you, they've just revamped their rewards program, now offering more Chang's cash than before, up to 10% on certain items when you sign up for rewards at PF Chang's. You know where to find them. Town Center, off Corbett Boulevard. Look for the giant golden horse that's PF Chang's. Here comes news. Yep. Franklin, Louisiana.
Mm-hmm. He learned to cook offshore.
Really?
Yep. He was cooking out on the rigs. He figured, you know what, I could do this onshore. Make some money.
And then went into franchising Ruth's Chris Steakhouses. And then took what he learned from Ruth's Chris and said, I'm going to make my own steakhouse. And then took it from there and said, what would upscale Chinese look like?
Mm-hmm. Done good for himself.
I understand he lives in Hawaii now. I was talking about him with Hannah Griff the other day.
Hannah Griff know him growing up?
Yeah.
Hannah Griff's got a commercial talking about the rice, where he grew up in Southwest Louisiana.
I don't know why he calls Franklin Southwest.
I don't either, because I grew up in Morgan City, 20 miles from there, and that's just right dead in the middle of the state.
Right.
Now, if he's just trying to placate the folks over in Locasine, where they're from, well, that's fine. That's Southwest. Franklin's not Southwest Louisiana. Oh, so if the Mannings can do a children's hospital, the Bensons have to do it too.
The Bensons were fighting the cancer stuff.
Everybody go put her name in a hospital.
She already has her name on a hospital.
Wasn't that what they just said? They just named the Oshner Children's Hospital to Tom and Gail Benson.
She's basically just putting her name on everything Oxnard at this point.
So what stories you want to go with here?
Oh, shoot. Hang on. I closed it out because I had opened something else. Damn it. Come on. I want to start with Mark Zuckerberg saying social media is over. Good morning, Christy. Welcome in, sweetheart. Assuming you're still listening. Mm-hmm. Troy says Franklin used to have the 318 area code. Maybe that's why he's associating with it. I mean, Superior Rice is in Crowley, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's the other
Crowley's
side
the
of
other side of Lafayette. That's
Yeah, when you used to cross the Calumet cut, that's where 318 and 504 used to be. Just on the other side of Patterson, between Patterson
Yeah.
and
early morning squall line aside. How's our weather looking? Here's the McCade Cowan.
oh yeah, love it. Nice.
637 Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. We need to make sure that forecast stays clean tomorrow. Well, for that matter, Saturday as well. It's a busy weekend in Baton Rouge. As not one, not two, three different Catholic school fairs this weekend. Our Lady of Mercy, St. Thomas More, St. Alphonsus. I mean, that's the trifecta right there. So hopefully we'll be able to stave off whatever chance of rain and have a great weekend. Before we get to Cup of Tech Gumbo, I did miss a sports story earlier. I had mentioned that LSU men's basketball picked up another player. That player would be Pablo Tamba from UC Davis. He is a 6'7" senior. Put up 11.3 points last year, 5.3 rebounds, just over 1 assist, just over 1 steal per game. But that should just about round it out for LSU men's basketball. Oh, he's coming over from UC Davis, by the way. So Matt McMahon not done doing work just yet. All right. Here's how we do on a Thursday. It's time for a Cup of Tech Gumbo. Yes, it's time for a Cup of Tech Gumbo. Haggai, did you get stuck in the weather out there?
No, I got stuck looking at a train.
Oh, goodness gravy.
But
and you don't have much option from where you're coming from either.
No, if you go too far downtown, you always, when you're coming down River Road, you got to look at the tracks.
Yeah.
And I just, right before wastewater treatment that shut down. I saw it right there, and I had to stop, turn back around because it was heading in towards downtown. I might
Ooh.
still be there if it was. You had to double back almost to LSU to get across.
Okay.
Go back to Astor kind of thing.
Okay. Yeah. It's
But the good news, the rain had stopped at that point. So
yeah. So you could double back without
Yes.
being in any real danger. Well, I appreciate the hustle and I appreciate the effort, to be sure. So every day when we do the show, I share the Facebook live feed presented by Lake Erdrich here. I share the Facebook live feed over to my personal Facebook page.
Yep.
And this morning when I shared it, I asked this question and then the caption, is social media dying? And I realized the irony of asking that question on social media. But is social media dying? This is one of the things we're going to talk about this morning, Haggai, and I want to start here if we could. Mark Zuckerberg says social media is over with. He told during testimony at Meta's antitrust trial, Facebook's founder's argument was, in so many words, platforms like his are not what they used to be. Mostly that they're looking more and more like traditional media in the sense that you have more ads, you have more celebrity-driven content, you have more news-driven content. It's basically taking everything that was on your TV and moving it over to your phone instead. Is he right?
absolutely, he's right. So the Federal Trade Commission is suing Meta for Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp being this monopoly back in 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015, which at this point is a history lesson. I mean, because Facebook is not the dominant player 10 years later that it was at the time.
Sure.
You've got TikTok, you've got YouTube that has blown up to be way much more than it was 15 years ago when all this is going down. And so Zuckerberg is saying, look, when was the last time you took a selfie of your plate at a restaurant and shared it like you did in 2012?
Right.
When was the last time you took a selfie of yourself and shared that like you did in 2015?
Yeah.
People go to social media now to go see content creators. They go to see, hey, what's this influencer, saying? What is their take on this? And that's not the way social media used to be.
Right.
And so it's like you were saying, it's very much about it going from TV to being on these screens. It's the same level of content, sometimes better, sometimes worse, but you're not going to see, oh, wow, let me look where Brian and his wife went to dinner tonight. Unless you're an influencer saying, hey, look, I'm at P.F. Chang's, come join us.
Right.
Now that's why you're on social media posting that you're at a restaurant. But it used to be that, oh, look, listen, I'm having the Peking duck for dinner tonight, and here's my plate. Well, you don't do that anymore.
Is there a way to bring that back, though? Let's start from the social media end of this, and I'm going to get to the societal end on after that. But let's start on the social media end of this. I mean, Mark Zuckerberg, he's got a platform. He's got a few of them, in fact. He's got Facebook and Instagram. And is Threads the thing?
Yeah,
they're still
it's still there.
petering that around.
Yeah,
yeah.
trying.
Okay. Yeah, I love when I get alerts on my Instagram that say so and so followed you on Threads. I'm like, why? Followed me where?
How did they get there?
How could you follow something that's not moving? Anyway, Mark Zuckerberg has platforms.
Yes.
He can manipulate the algorithm however he would like. Can he not, quote unquote, shadow ban all the doom scrolling? Can he not minimize the effects of that level, that kind of content?
Oh, absolutely they can, but that's not what's happening. Zuckerberg, Facebook used to be the dominant player. It used to be everybody went to Facebook.
Yeah.
Certainly TikTok hadn't been created yet. YouTube was gaining momentum. But once they bought Instagram and Facebook was the thing to do for a 10-year run.
Yeah.
Well, it's not anymore. Now you can't, even TikTok doesn't own the world.
Right.
A large number of people are, but they're also on Snapchat, and they're on LinkedIn, and they're on all the different there's so many different platforms so that nobody has a majority anymore. And you don't go to LinkedIn for the same reason you go to Facebook, and you don't go to Facebook for the same reason that you would go to Instagram. You don't go to TikTok for the same reason you would go. So there's a lot you go to different platforms for different reasons now.
We used to.
And now it's all about going to see the short form videos.
Okay, so yes, that would be great if it were still content that were created by your friends, neighbors, family, whatever that you're going to see. Like if it were, here's us at the beach. That's awesome to go watch that in a short form video. It's like a photo album brought to life. That's awesome. But that's not what we're getting there. Everywhere we go, I'm going to go back to the doom scrolling thing here. Everywhere we go, we are actively seeking content to make us angry.
Oh, absolutely.
Why? I don't understand. Like maybe it's because of the world I live in. I want an escapism. I want to get away from that stuff.
Because most of that content is created in Russia, in North Korea, in places that don't like us, and they feed us all this information because we've made it known we're interested in the political right or the political left. And there's not many people in the political middle like me who don't want to see that
like
crap.
Harry Sisson and the older millennial, these people aren't from Russia, and they're jamming up feeds with Harry's on the left defending everything the left will ever do. Older millennials over here on the right debunking everything Harry says, and just watching them fight back and forth. Doesn't come from Russia. That comes from us.
That's a specific content creator who's done it. The majority of the videos that don't have that influencer in the middle of it, those are the stuff that's created.
Let's pause. We'll come back after we check traffic. We check your money now. It's a cup of tech gumbo on Talk 107.3. No, most of the anger that I see is content creators that are,
but they got riled up by videos that they saw. That here's a picture of immigrants jumping over the wall, and or you've got things like that.
Here's what I absolutely love: Reels on Facebook right now. All right, not one political post in here. All right, I don't know what this is. Okay, is that? I don't know what that's all about. Food?
Yeah, on my reels is full of LSU baseball pictures and
Animals?
girls with big boobs.
Yeah,
And that, yeah.
I get a lot of Nature Channel type stuff.
Oh yeah.
Anthony Jeselnik, I get a lot of stand-up comedians. He's so funny. There's nobody better at the redirect than him. A lot of snakes. Cute. Another snake. Yep. But like, for the most part, I'm fed what I asked for. Yeah.
This is what's on mine.
Well, yeah, and your profile is you're a man. They're gonna feed you boobies.
Right. But I don't.
That's like my TikTok is full of TV clips and wiener pills.
Yeah.
Something called Tonkat Ali. I don't know. all the magic stuff that was found in the jungle.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, L-carnitine. L-carnitine is supposed to make you lose weight. A lot of baseball highlights.
Well, I get a lot of sports in general.
Okay, I stumbled across this. There's more and more realtors that are doing like shitty showings of homes on TikTok, and they're hilarious.
Really?
Yeah, this one, she's got like a Sandra Bullock look with like a Kristen Wiig anxiety. Poor edits. It's like intentionally bad the whole way through.
Oh, absolutely. She's very well crafted this to be as bad as.
Yeah. .652 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Cup of Tech Gumbo rolling right along. We got Haggai Davis in the house. We're talking about social media and Mark Zuckerberg saying social media is all but over. And I don't necessarily disagree with him, but I agree with him, but for different reasons.
He's saying it's over as we knew it.
Right.
It's not going away.
No, it's not
just
going
completely
away,
changed from what it was just 10 years ago.
But if you're Mark Zuckerberg, if you are Facebook's founder and you own Instagram, you can't come out and say, there's too many ads. Not like in my day. Well, you're the guy putting the ads in there, you jackhole.
Well, he's got to say that to the FTC. I mean, he's testifying to save a
but
big
it's nobody
message.
on the FTC going to say, who controls that, Mark?
Look, it's spin control. I mean, he's trying to not get fined.
I understand.
Yes. They're forced to be broken up and because of all the silliness.
I understand. But there are multiple factors creating this and multiple factors perpetuating this. And I believe that if you're in control of all the buttons, look, I don't think Facebook or any social media platform should be constitutionally protected as free speech. They're all individually owned. They're not the public square. They are, but they're not. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
You have the ability to just shut the whole thing down.
And that's what Section 230 provides.
Right.
That, this is the public forum that the Section 230 of the 1996 Telecom Decency Act allows for the protection of these social media platforms so that they can't be held responsible for what you and I might put on their platforms.
Okay, right.
And that's how social media was created, because of one little paragraph in a law from 1996.
What if there were a social media platform to come out and we're going to call it Play Nice, a-holes? We could leave off the a-hole. If I were to come on a social media platform called Play Nice, no politics at all. You're going to come on here and you're going to talk about your kids. You're going to talk about what you had to eat for dinner last night. You're going to talk about your vacation. You're going to talk about
Andy Griffith reruns.
Yes,
absolutely.
Yeah, I've created the Cranky Man's social media where I don't want to hear what you've got to say politically. Because first of all, you're not that important. So let's leave that at the door. Okay, your 18 followers have all liked you. Awesome, but it's not social.
Right.
It's no longer social. And we've got you were saying in the last segment that LinkedIn is supposed to be for business. If I open my LinkedIn right now, I guarantee you I can find at least half a dozen tirades over tariffs. If I were to open Nextdoor right now.
Why would you?
Because I like to troll people on Nextdoor by accusing them of being racist. It's just fun. Watching people backtrack when you just something as simple as, what do you mean those people? Like if you just put that in any comment on Nextdoor, you know, it's like somebody will post a video from under their carport and like, can anybody recognize these people? They were under my carport last night. And I'll just put in, what do you mean these people? And then it's just 50 some odd comments after that of, that's not what he meant. Like, my little Bill Burr streak going in me right there. Anyway, it's all meshed into one. There is no business platform or quick headline platform or short video platform.
Because it's on, people have gotten to where they think they know they have the right to say whatever they want on any platform they go on.
Uh-huh.
Instead of being appropriate on a platform, it's you're going to listen to what I have to say, and the echo chamber that I'm saying to is going to like me.
That's what I'm saying.
And go find your own echo chamber.
Yeah.
Get off my lawn. You know, I want my old Facebook back then where just you had people posting pictures of the vacations and their kids and things like that. Yeah, that I don't care to see your political take. I don't care to see, you know, your rant on this or that because I don't care.
Right.
And
we thought it was bad when people were posting pictures of food, and now we miss the pictures of food.
Yes. Be careful of what you ask for. You may just get it.
Right. How do we get it back? Societally, so this is the other part of this. Societally, is there going to be a point where we say enough and I need to escape from the escapism now?
You know, I do want to say this. Going around Baton Rouge, I have people come up all the time, and they talk about how I heard you on Brian's show. I heard you on the radio. You know, and people do really, they love you, and they love the
Thank
show.
You.
And you know, they're like, well, always ask me, how did I get involved in this? How did I? And I said, well, I just decided I wanted to do it one day,
right.
And I asked, hey, can I do this? And somebody said, well, I guess. So that's how I got involved in all of this because I just wanted to do it, and I figured out a way how to do it.
You logged a lot of hours along the way, though. I mean, that's
we're 11 and a half years into this radio show, so it's not like I'm just starting out anymore, and I'd done a whole lot of TV before that too, but it's still untrained chimp who just kind of figured things out along the way. But I'm not what I would consider an influencer. I'm not. I mean, I have some people who enjoy our show and they like what we're saying, but that's just because we're giving our opinion on tech news.
Yeah.
And we're not being controversial kind of thing. I'm not trying to get those clicks.
But that's the point, though, Haggai, is you're not using tech gumbo to sell shampoo. You're staying in your lane.
Right.
How do we get social media back in its lane?
I think that horse has left the barn and the barn is burned to the ground.
We got about a minute and a half left. Is that enough time to talk about why we shouldn't be polite to Alexa?
Because it's running up the electric bill.
Dude, this hurts my heart.
It, you know, it's amazing, but people are just, it costs so much money to do this artificial intelligence, these large language models. A 100-word phrase, it burns 0.14 kilowatts of energy for 100 words. That's the same amount of power that a house uses in about an hour. Your typical 4-bedroom home in the U.S. goes through 0.14 kilowatts in about an hour. And so just by everyone saying thank you, and when you get 400 million people a week using it, and let's just say 100 million of them are saying thank you or please, and it's generating that much more processing back in the data centers.
All the effort I put into teaching my kids to be polite.
Absolutely.
Unreal.
You're running up electric bills all over the world.
He's Haggai Davis. Get your full serving of Tech Gumbo Saturday and Sunday right here on Talk 107.3 FM and anywhere you get your podcasts. Always appreciate it.
You betcha, Brian.
Here comes news. I meant to get to that sooner. I shouldn't have gone off so much of the Facebook because this but it coincides, right?
Yes, absolutely.
And these two things go together.
It is, but I did want to get that in there about people saying nice things about you on the radio because people do all the time.
Well, I wish it would show up in the ratings. Not the same people, obviously. But thank you for that. I appreciate it. So when I say, Alexa, what are my notifications? And Alexa says, the National Flood Service has extended the flood warning until May 12th at 3:30 p.m. It's like, well, it's the same warning as yesterday, Alexa. I shouldn't respond back, right? When I say that was the same warning as yesterday.
When you say, okay, thanks, Alexa. Yes, it's now, it has to process that you just said thank you. When you go to ChatGPT and you ask what's going on with the Mississippi River, and it gives you, the 1,000-word response, and then you say thank you, it's having to process the fact that you said thank you. What do you mean by thank you? What do you mean by when you said please? Wait, what does that mean? I've got to go predict what the next words are after it. And I got to predict what my response is.
There's got to be a way to unprogram that.
No, it can't.
Why not?
Because that's what it does. It listens to what you say, and it's got to respond based upon what the prompts you're giving.
It doesn't respond, though. It doesn't say you're welcome.
No, but it's listening in case you do need to process it, unless it does need to process. If it's not programmed to say, because you can have it, you can program it to say, you're welcome every time I say thank you. You can do all of those. You can have it respond any way you want it to.
All right. So after I ask Alexa a question, I just need to shut up.
Let it go. Let her go back to sleep.
Whatever. I tell you so like yesterday I got home, there's 2 notifications. One was the same damn flood alert that I've had every day for the last 3 weeks.
Oh, look, I live a quarter of a mile from the river.
You get the same flood alert. Absolutely. The second notification yesterday was an item that Christine liked is now on sale. Would you like us to add it to your shopping cart? I'm like, no, Alexa, delete.
I got kids going to college. Stop that.
I need that money to go buy my magic jungle pills. Seriously, I knew it wouldn't come up if I wanted to show it to you, but
Renee says hers answers when she says thank you.
That's awesome. Okay, so add. I guess this is for sleeping pills. Content. Yeah, add. Content. But content from Bleacher Report. So it's from a news outlet.
Oh, wait, did the Lakers finally lose last night? Are they done?
I don't know. I think LeBron died last night. He bumped into somebody and he was on the floor for about 20 minutes.
Boy, I did see him do one hell of a flop on somebody who sneezed.
NBC Philly.
Somebody in New York City got my cell phone number, and they think it's me that lives in New York, not Haggai the Third. And I got all these people running for Democratic positions.
I'm getting them in my email now, and I don't know why.
And I'm like, go away, people. I don't give a shit about New York politics.
Okay. This would be for workouts. Yeah. Clips. I'm West Wing talk a lot now. A lot of sharks in the spillway.
Bull sharks?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here we go. Finally we got one. Alpha male.
There you go. Oh boy.
What's an alpha male?
The Lakers did lose. They're out.
Boosts energy, sharpens focus, enhances strength and stamina. That's reduces stress, supports immunity, and boosts testosterone naturally. Everything boosts testosterone naturally.
I want
Featuring, here you go. Here's the ingredients: sea moss, tongkat ali, maca root. Apparently, maca root's the big one. Shilajit, ashwagandha, and manuka honey. Could not. And this is snake oil, but it's like it took a good 20 videos to get to it today. Normally, it's like every third one. It's insane. I'm like, I don't want this many ads. 7:05. 7:05. Talk 107.3 FM WBRP, hour 2 of Mornings with Brian Haldane coming your way right now. Brian here with you. John LaBeouf producing. We are starting off your second hour at, have we ticked back up to 70? No, we went down a little bit, 65 degrees in downtown Baton Rouge. I'll take it. If that's the trade-off for the 5 a.m. Thunder Boomer that rolled through, that's it. Yeah, we got so yeah, I'll definitely take it. All right, this hour, we've heard a lot about insurance bills. We've heard a lot about getting rid of food dyes in schools. We've heard a lot about criminal justice. We've heard a lot about not letting people on welfare buy soft drinks, or not letting people on SNAP, excuse me, buy soft drinks. What about the budget? It's a fiscal session. Remember that little item you got to cover there? Old HB1? The reason they put it as number one. Thanks, Haggai. The reason they put it as number one. Can we get back to the fiscal in the fiscal session? Hell, we're not even getting back to it. We haven't even gotten to it yet to get back to it. Jason DeCuir from Advantage Consulting coming up in our next segment. Also this hour, Crimestoppers coming your way at 7:35. But before we get to any of that, top stories and trending. Let's go.
Number 5.
Parking in the Perkins Road overpass area is a point of contention as some business and property owners are taking matters into their own hands by contracting with towing companies to keep watch. Grabbing this one from our news partners over at WBRZ and their Two on Your Side feature says one business owner tells two it's not their responsibility to provide other businesses parking, and it creates a liability issue after hours. While the businesses don't profit from the tows, the enforcement helps keep their properties clean and clear for patrons.
Number 4.
Magnolia Ridge Logistics Park is coming soon to Geismar. What is Magnolia Ridge, you ask? It's going to feature 18 industrial lots ranging from 2 to 20 acres, purpose-built for distribution centers, light manufacturing, and industrial laydown areas. Locations can be on Highway 30. That was chosen to support both the industrial network along the Mississippi River and the bulk distribution needs of both Baton Rouge and New Orleans. Construction is scheduled to begin on May 7th.
Number 3.
A federal judge has sentenced a longtime lawyer and lobbyist to 5 years in prison after he pleaded guilty to possessing more than 550 images of child pornography. 70-year-old James Berlin also must pay $5,000 under the Justice for Victims of Trafficking Act and register as a sex offender.
Number 2.
One person was injured in a shooting at the Reserve at White Oak apartment complex on South Harrells Ferry Road. The person was taken to the hospital in serious condition, according to officials. Another person was shot at the same complex on Monday night. No word yet if those two incidents are connected.
Number 1.
The first public meeting for Plan Baton Rouge Phase 3 was held last night at the Louisiana Arts and Science Museum downtown. Standing room only in the presentation part of the meeting, talking about revamping. How do you rebuild downtown, or not rebuild, but how do you revitalize downtown? Yet again, downtowns have been an ever-changing thing and continue to be. The meeting presentation part of the meeting was followed by the feedback portion, where you had folks giving their take on any number of different items, whether you're talking about greenways, whether you're talking about what you'd like to see on the riverfront itself, whether you're talking about parking, whether you're talking about traffic congestion, infrastructure. All of it was open for discussion last night, and man, there were plenty of opportunities to provide said feedback. Just the first meeting. There will be more. What's trending, John?
Well, the Chinese government published a report on the COVID pandemic Wednesday, claiming that the pandemic causing coronavirus originated in the U.S. and not China, as most believe.
So last hour I said they were given the this is the I'm rubber, you're glue defense.
Yes.
I think I'm pivoting on that. This is the he who smelt it dealt it defense.
Ooh.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Is that, I mean, if you read their whole report, which I've read the first couple paragraphs, but I didn't read the whole report.
Yeah.
But if you read the report, they're basically saying it was over here before it was over there.
Oh, come on.
I'm like, how about no?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the SARS research lab in Wuhan, I mean, has been kind of known to
A little bit.
Yeah, stuff's been known to come out of there.
When you put the name of the virus on the side of the building,
Yeah,
it's reasonable to think that the problem came from that building.
Maybe not. Maybe not. China's like, no. What proof do you have, huh?
Yeah.
Except for that.
Ignore the sign.
That's it.
Just because, what are we, ace of base?
I like that. Man, got to put that in the rotation, huh?
Huh?
Hey, Marjorie Taylor Greene doubled down on a social media tirade yesterday, claiming that the Catholic bishops are controlled by Satan. In other news, social media.
Yeah. No, it's
what a place to be.
Social
media, right? We just talked about
the level to which this woman just needs to go away. I swear.
So, Brian, you're on Twitter. Do you see anything on this? Do you see? We talk about ads or just content that's brought up to.
So she made this post on X or for Twitter, right?
Yep,
is where she made it. Talking about she did this when the Vatican announced Pope Francis passing, right?
Right.
Which, by the way, May 7th, I believe, is when conclave begins.
Okay.
Anyway, that's neither here nor there. After the post was made, the Catholic League for Religious and Civil Rights called for Greene's censure. And then Greene came back out and just doubled down on it, said today there were major shifts in global leaderships. Evil is being defeated by the hand of God. And then doubled down again with another social media meltdown yesterday, demanding an apology over a letter from the Catholic League president, William Donahue, the demand for the apology caused her to demand for an apology.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
We got to move on because I'm going to say things that I'm going to regret.
The Atlanta, speaking of saying things you will regret, the Atlanta Falcons have been fined $250,000, and defensive coordinator Jeff Ulbrich has been fined $100,000 as a result of Ulbrich's son participating in a prank call to Shedeur Sanders during the NFL draft. Yikes.
$350,000 prank call.
I mean,
also that you could dig in on a dude as his world was crumbling in front of him. Look, I'm not a Shedeur Sanders fan. He's probably going to be a very good NFL quarterback. Probably.
Yeah.
But that man was going through his own lesson in humility as he dropped rank spot by spot within the draft. Every draft pick that passed was more contract dollars and signing bonus money he was losing. And reminders that humility is important in this world. That being said, dude, kicking that man while he's down.
Yeah.
That's
but $350K though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, but there's reasons for this though.
Yeah.
The guys
wish I had to get up.
I'm
not trying to make light of it.
No, but it's a nice little Vine reference right there. But the guys getting drafted, they don't have their own cell phones with them at the time, or they might. But when they get the call from the NFL teams, those are NFL provided cell phones, and they're supposed to be protected numbers.
Oh, okay. Well, then.
So it wasn't the prank call itself as much as you're paying $250K because you let this number loose.
Good. Yeah. Thanks for the clarification, because I think that's what a lot of people would think,
all factors into the same thing.
Exactly.
So 714 Talk 107.3 FM. We got a break. When we come back, let's talk tax bills. Let's talk budget. It's actually a fiscal session, believe it or not. Jason DeCuir from Advances Consulting's next.
Yeah, that's him on the line.
Cool.
Let's see.
Oh, holy hell. All right, tomorrow I've got to bounce right at 9 o'clock, like right at 9 o'clock. My daughter's got graduation mass.
Okay.
So I'm gonna be out of here very quickly. Next Tuesday, I gotta bounce at 8:30. Okay. Because my son has wax museum day. I don't know what I'm doing for the last half hour yet. I might pre-record something, and then just leave. I'll write you an outside in if you want to handle the last segment.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Do something like that.
But James has his wax museum, and he's put a lot into being P.T. Barnum. Like
So he's still working on that. He's been on that for a while, right?
yeah,
So he must have been putting a lot into it.
he's
And if
put a lot into it. Well, I mean, there were like there's a book report that he had to do first, and like there's more than just this is the culmination of all the other work they've done.
Yeah. So he made a wax figure, or is
No, he is the wax museum. Like they all have to be in costume.
Oh, okay, yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, that's
And
awesome.
you give my boy the opportunity to put on a costume, and he's there.
That's
It's honestly frustrating.
It's like, that's awesome, though. How old is he?
He's 8.
Okay, yeah, 'cause
yeah.
I met him once. Yeah,
He
8. Yeah. No, right?
yes. It's just there's a lot of top hats in our house. I don't know what to do with that. It's just not like loving him and relating to him are two separate. I'm working on the second
absolutely.
one. The first one, no brainer, right?
I mean, yeah,
absolutely, unequivocally, unconditionally.
yeah.
But relating, it's like, oh God, son, stop it.
Oh yeah. See, I don't know what it's like with a son, but like 3 daughters, that's it's hard.
But
then again,
a daughter can't be you,
But then again,
right? So
That's
you're not
different. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And I'm not expecting him to be like I don't want him to be like me.
Yeah.
But Jesus, I thought the apple didn't fall far from the tree. 716 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. So right across the other side of downtown, we got that state capitol building. Inside the state capitol building, there's a legislative session going on. I was told this was a fiscal session, but all you're hearing about is snap cards and soft drinks, dyes in our ultra processed food, fluoride in the toothpaste, and insurance bills as well. Joining us now to see if we can get back on track, Jason DeCuir from Advantis Consulting. Jason, how are you, man?
I'm good, Brian. How are you this morning?
I'm doing very well as well. Am I missing something here, or we completely left the rails from what was a quote-unquote fiscal session?
No, rightfully so, teeing it up. But, Brian, going into this session on one of our first calls, we know it's a tax session and it's a fiscal session, but we also knew that insurance was going to be the dominant issue and take front stage. And it has not disappointed. It has taken up a lot of the oxygen in the building, and we have 2 of our state leaders that have a difference of opinion on how this issue should get resolved and lower the rates. And it'll be interesting to see how it works itself out. But to your point, there is still a tax session going and tax bills are moving.
Mm-hmm.
And Brian, I don't know if you saw this week, but your favorite 115-page bill got reduced to 5 pages.
What?
And you can't make fun of the length of the bill anymore. But we also kind of saw this coming, right? When we talked, we started off the session talking about why CA2 failed, on the ballot earlier the year, and how they were gonna recover from that. And what were some of the reasons? Well, it's clear now they've decided to break CA2, what was formerly known as CA2, up into 5 different pieces. So Representative Emerson, or Chairwoman Emerson, had her redo of CA2, and she stripped it down to just the revenue stabilization fund and the budget stabilization fund. So speaking of budget, there you go. And
awesome.
She took all those other things out. They're all in separate bills. And the interesting thing about this, Brian, is that they're already setting up the stage for what they want to do with the extra revenue if it were to pass. And so the first thing that they would do if it passes, as you know, they had to increase the sales tax rate to 5% to pay for the package.
Right.
Last session. And if her bill were to pass, her new constitutional amendment combining the 2 funds, it would reduce our state sales tax rate to 4.75%. In addition, it would further reduce our personal income tax rate. It would go from 3% to 2.75. So that's what they have been talking about. They wanted to do some consolidation of funds to further reduce our tax rates, and so that's what she did when she stripped her bill down.
We got Jason DeCuir with us from Advantage Consulting. Jason, I got to ask you a question about this being their individual constitutional amendments now, which awesome. So hopefully when we go a la carte, we don't just pick what we want, we pick what we need as well. But that being said, they're required to have a balanced budget. Can they do that while still leaving open the door for that budget is contingent upon us going to the polls and doing the right thing?
No, that's right. So what they'll have to do is they have to address the budget based on what is. Okay, so you can't factor these conditions in to the current budget. In Louisiana, as you know, you have to have a balanced budget, and you can't balance it based on these conditions. So they're going to have to take the revenue they have today, and they're going to have to figure out, and there'll be tough conversations, how they want to spread it, how they want to spend it, and what they want to spend it on. But you can't go and say, hey, I want to spend extra money on whatever it may be, but it's dependent upon this new constitutional amendment. You can't do it. It wouldn't be a balanced budget. So if it were to pass, they probably have to come back in, not a special session. A lot of this, Brian, can be addressed through what they call REC, Revenue Estimating Conference, and then you can make some adjustments if her constitutional amendment were to pass.
Actually, can we get a little refresher course right there, Jason, for those who might not be familiar, what the job of the Revenue Estimating Conference is and how they come to the numbers they come to?
Yeah, so it's a good question, and basically the legislature will be setting the budget for next year, and just a reminder, we're on a July 1 budget. It's not a calendar year, so they'll be setting the budget for this July upcoming. And what they do is they try to do their best to balance it. But as you know, sometimes revenues can come in greater, sometimes they can be a little stagnant. And they meet about 4 times a year to see if we're basically on track or we're off track. And so if we're off track, meaning there's not enough revenue coming in for some of the things that they had budgeted for, that's when you hear about the mid-year budget cuts. Okay, that's how they can cut the budget during the middle of the year, because simply there's not enough revenue coming in. The flip side is the more positive side. There's more revenue coming in than the economists predicted, and then that's when you can make some what they call one-time expenditures, because there's extra cash, and that's how they forecast the budget throughout the year and make different adjustments, even though we're not in session.
And that's the money that would go towards any unaccrued, accrued liability.
Yes,
as opposed to the revenue stabilization. Okay.
Yep, that's exactly right. And so along the lines of her breaking her constitutional amendment out, so now you'll have one combining revenue stabilization and budget stabilization fund. You'll have a separate one dealing with what you just were talking about, some of the teacher retirement debt, consolidating those funds and using that potentially for that long-term or permanent increase in teacher pay. You'll have one dealing with severance tax, which would dedicate more money back to local governments. You'll then have one of our favorite conversations, decetels, will have a separate constitutional amendment dealing with the inventory tax. And then you'll have one other constitutional amendment dealing with the government growth limit and how government can grow and how fast it can grow based on inflationary measures. And so that's 5 new constitutional amendments. That was all once in CA2. Now you're going to break that out, and the voters would have to vote on all 5 separately. So it's possible you may get some of the budget stuff. You may not get the tax stuff. You may get the tax stuff, not some of the budget stuff, or maybe you get all 5, Brian.
Hopefully once they're broken down individually, they can be explained individually. And once they're explained individually, we can get rid of the excuse that nobody understood them.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that goes, because look, each one of these, even as broken down, as you know, is very complicated. And so now you still have to explain or do some messaging on each one of them. But hopefully they get out there early, that they're able to talk about them. But first things first, they got to get through the legislature. Right?
True.
And so they're just advancing through ways and means and getting to the House floor. I'm sure the House will debate them vigorously, and then they'll move over to the Senate. But that is happening. It's riding a bit under the radar because it's talked about insurance and carbon capture and those types of things are, I think, dominating the talking points of the session.
One more on the revenue estimating conference before we get to the rest of the session. After that, we're talking with Jason DeCuir from Advances Consulting. One more on the revenue estimating conference, and that's to broaden things out to a federal scope here. We rely pretty heavily, 5%, we rely on sales tax, and we rely on a number of federal dollars as well. How difficult does that make it for the REC to see things like DOGE rolling through and tariffs being pushed? I mean, all the tariff talk has got to make sales tax prediction that much more unpredictable, doesn't it?
There is no doubt, and I know our economists are watching that closely and what the impact may do here in Louisiana. One of the reasons we like to go to sales tax, Brian, is because it comes in every 30 days, right? You have to file your return, right. Unlike income tax, where you file once a year and you're basically kind of hoping and praying that all of the revenue you forecasted comes in around that same time and at the numbers that you suggest. But with sales tax, as you mentioned, you can see the uptick or downtick, every quarter. And so that is why, unfortunately, we have kind of been very dependent on sales tax. And when we do get into budget deficits, you'll see, okay, well, let's just, as they say, let's just play with the penny. We've gone from 4% to 5%, back down to 4.45%. Now we're going to go back up to 5%. And if Julie's bill's, Chairwoman Emerson's bill passes, we'll go back down to 4.75%. So, and that's because that money comes in instantaneously. But it is also very much based on the economy, taxpayer behavior, transactions occurring. Particularly on the retail market, and if that gets stagnant, so does our budget revenue.
Yeah, it's hard to pay sales tax if the shelves are empty with product from China, right?
That's it. That's exactly right. And look, the other thing I wanted to mention, just on the insurance front, there is a piece of this that has a tax part to it, and Representative Chance Henry has a bill. And Brian, I don't know, are you familiar with the retaliatory tax? Do you know what that is?
No, I don't.
Okay, so one of the ways that they're trying to get more insurance companies, they call them domestic insurance companies to locate and right here in Louisiana. I don't know if you knew this happened, but our insurance premium rate, get this, is one of the highest in the country, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just like all of our other rates. And so if you're an insurance company in Louisiana, and you write here and you want to write a policy, because insurance companies write all over the country, and you want to write a policy in another state and it has a lower rate, that state then charges the Louisiana company what's called a retaliatory tax. So if our rate is 6% and say Tennessee's rate is 4%, well, when you go to write a policy in Tennessee, they're going to retaliate against Louisiana because its rate is higher than Tennessee, and it's going to charge you Louisiana's rate of 6%, not 4%. So that's because if a Tennessee company writes in Louisiana, they get charged the 6%, not Tennessee's 4%. So they are trying to reduce our insurance premium tax so that it will incentivize insurance companies to come to Louisiana and write here because they won't get retaliated against by other states because their rate is lower.
Will that affect our premiums?
It would actually cause our premiums to go down because the insurance company is paying less in premium tax, and then ultimately that would factor into our premium. So this is a good thing. I'm pulling for Representative Chance Henry to get this across the finish line, but I do think that this could have an immediate impact on helping to lower insurance rates in Louisiana.
I'm looking at it right now. It's House Bill 594 by Representative Chance Henry. And Jason, this thing reads so simply that I'm actually nervous.
Yeah, no, it's something that, and look,
good.
I was in the Jindal administration, and when we were looking at doing tax reform, it was one of the things that I wanted to try to reform as well. And we've tried to take a little nicks and knacks at it, bites at it, but haven't been able to get there. This is something that really needs to be done, and I just think it fits well in this session since we're talking about insurance reform. But I wanted to put that bill on your radar.
Absolutely, and I will follow up and reach out to Representative Henry to be sure. In the meanwhile, fantastic stuff, man. Great information, wonderful segment. Thank you so much, as always. He is Jason DeCuir from Advances Consulting. Appreciate it. We'll talk to you next week.
Thank you, Brian. You have a good one, buddy.
You do the same. I am all over this thing. This is okay. Flat rate of 1.6%. That's what Chance Henry is looking for with this bill. We'll have more on it as we move forward. Right now, it's 7:30. Let's go ahead and get your news. Proposed law provides that beginning January 1st, 2027, and each January 1st thereafter, if the sum of the prior year's actual premium tax collections and actual retaliatory tax collections exceeds that of the 2024 calendar year, the insurance premium tax rates provided in the present law and proposed law for the following types of insurance issuers, respectively, shall be reduced by 0.2%. So he wants to do the okay. So he wants to flatten it to 1.6 and then take everything else and gradually pull it down. Y'all, requires insurers to separately state premium taxes on their declaration pages. Okay. Okay, so the insurance company would be required to make sure that we can clearly see what they're paying and where, so that we can know when they're overpaying and when they're not, or when they're underpaying. You know what? Let me not try to interpret that. I'm not a lawyer. There's things I understand and things I don't. Did you find that Cassidy cut? Okay. From when he was in the studio? It was when he was in studio. Yeah. And I was relatively certain that I pulled it out and emailed it to you. I asked him, I was like, was it weird being in the room with him? Is it weird working with him when you voted to impeach him twice? And he corrected me and said it was only one impeachment vote. And then he goes on from there to say, no, we're grown men. We're moving forward. We're focused on the future of the country. All right, let's print this. Hello, sir. How are you? Oh, they've already gotten on us about not. Those you can have them because they're for guests. They are for guests. No, I live here. I appreciate it. We squared away for Saturday. I thought we said we were going to use John unless somebody else popped up. You're the one that said you wanted to play.
I'm down for it. I've never played pickleball in my life, but you know what?
Me neither.
Dude, only if I could show up in Hoochie Daddy shorts and
I'll come out in the morning. I will. All right. I can do that. No worries. Yes. Yeah. 2:00. I got to work the bank at the Mercy Fair. Oh yeah. Okay.
The good Lord decides to do with that.
Okay. See that last segment right there? That's why we turn to Jason every single week during the legislative session. I am so far down this rabbit hole now, and I am fired up about it. All right. We got Crimestoppers coming up in just a little bit. First, we got to check that forecast. Here's WBRZ meteorologist Emma Kate Cowan. .738 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along, getting you to Crimestoppers in exactly 60 seconds. Got to remind you about Vex European. You know where to find them online. VexEuropean.com is the website. Vanny and his team celebrating 10 years in business. They got a full decade under their belts, a full decade of Vexpertise. What is Vexpertise, you ask? Well, I'm glad to answer that. Whatever your make or model of whatever your make of vehicle is, they have a master level technician, an expert level technician for your make of vehicle. You're not just going to like a good mechanic. You're going to somebody who knows your make of car. If you drive a Mercedes, they've got a Mercedes tech. Audi, BMW, Land Rover, Jaguar. If you're like Don and you drive a Ferrari, they can hook you up with that as well. Check them out online at VexEuropean.com. V is in Vinny, VexEuropean.com. Time for Crimestoppers. Good morning, Don. How are you?
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Good. I would like to meet that Don that drives a Ferrari.
That's you, man. That's you rocking the Magnum PI over there.
That's it. I'm just missing the stash.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
We'll do that in November. We'll do the Movember thing.
That'll be good.
Awesome.
That'll be good. Nice. Good morning.
Good morning. So you heard the forecast on the way back in.
I did. But we're optimistic. Things could change.
Yes.
And regardless, we do. And for the listeners, we're talking about our pickleball tournament this weekend,
Which
at Legacy.
Yes, which I'll be out there for in the
You'll
morning.
be out there. Yes. You have some other commitments, but it's okay. We want you out there. We want all the participants to see.
I feel bad though, because I really, really talked a lot of smack, and I need the opportunity to back it up.
Back it up.
No, I'm gonna go out there,
but not
sure.
on an official capacity because of the fact we don't know what's going on with the weather.
Right.
We're hoping that everything works out.
Understood. Understood.
But that way, people can see. They hear you. They may see you on the social media outlets, but for those who don't, while they're driving, they can see the man behind the mic who makes all this possible.
They can do that on Facebook Live, courtesy of Lake Urgent Care every day.
Well, if they're on the road, they're not going to be looking at the phone while they're driving.
The moral of the story is I'm not going to jack up the bracket with my shenanigans. I think that's where we're at.
No, the moral of the story is you need to come out there.
I'll be out there, Don. I will be.
And
it's literally around the corner from my house.
Well, good.
So, yeah, I mean, of course I'll be out
there. Good. We're looking forward to it. It's going to be a great event.
It is.
It benefits Crimestoppers.
And let's talk about why that's important. I mean, when it comes to Crimestoppers, there's only a certain number of places y'all can get your funding from.
That's it. And the primary is through fundraising events like this. And the amount of money we pay out, we just increased the first 48 on homicides, increase those rewards. So all that plays a part. And I think right now we probably have over 50 teams that have registered. I know Johnny Dunham was saying yesterday that his phone was blowing up until 11 o'clock the night before last.
That's awesome.
In the New Orleans area, Hattiesburg. So word has gotten out, and people realize that it's a great cause. They love pickleball. They love just the fellowship, and this way they're supporting a good cause. And if it doesn't affect you personally, you may know somebody that Crimestoppers has assisted, or you just want to do the right thing and help a great cause.
No, absolutely. And it's a cause that honestly has been batting 1,000 when it comes to the anonymity. We're talking over 40 years worth of protecting your identity. You are 100% anonymous when you call Crimestoppers. That's been probably the most important part of the whole equation.
Well, it is because of the fact that people don't want to be labeled a snitch. And with Crimestoppers, that's not it at all. The only way somebody would know if you even reached out or submitted a tip to Crimestoppers is if you told them.
Right.
But we don't have your phone number. We don't ask your name. You're given a code number when you call in or you submit a tip on the P3 Tips app, and that code number is your identity to us. So you will never get a phone call from us because we don't know who you are.
Makes the whole thing work. I mean, it just makes the whole thing work. It's awesome.
And to understand that Crimestoppers isn't just nationally known; it's international. There's programs all across the world.
Really?
They yes.
I knew it was national. I didn't realize it was.
It is also international,
worldwide, like Pitbull.
There's a Crimestoppers USA organization. They host a conference every year. This year in October, it's going to be actually in New Orleans.
Okay.
So, yeah. And we can talk about that.
We got to do something for that.
Yeah.
We got to make that big, dude.
Good.
Yeah. We'll figure out what we want to do on that front. But we'll definitely make that a big deal.
And that's not our coverage area, but Greater New Orleans Crimestoppers, we work hand in hand with them. So they would also appreciate that shout out. Very, very much so.
All right, what are we looking at today?
So we're going to start off with our Facebook page, Capital Region Crimestoppers. The detectives with East Baton Rouge Sheriff's Office are attempting to identify an individual. There's a great picture. Believe that this individual is responsible.
The one at WBRZ?
He's looking up at the camera with a towel. Like he knew there was a camera there saying hello. Here I am. So investigators believe that he's responsible for multiple vehicle burglaries in and around the area of Nicholson Drive and Bluebonnet Boulevard. He may have someone working with him. So there may be more than him. But the picture of him looking at the camera.
Okay, yeah, that's the same picture I saw. All right, now
Yeah.
that my Facebook is caught up here, that's the same picture I saw. He's he's wearing a jacket. He's got what looks like a towel wrapped over the top of his head. Does
Possibly
not stop
something in his right hand.
the. Oh yeah, look at that. Does not stop the look on his face though. I mean, he's making eye contact with the camera.
The only thing he's not doing is waving.
Yeah,
and
pretty much
that may have happened as he walked by. Who knows?
pretty much.
Okay, but it's a great picture. Somebody should recognize this individual. Contact Crimestoppers 344-7867 P3 Tips app. And again, if your information leads to his identity and or the apprehension, you're eligible for a cash reward.
Yeah, if you haven't seen the picture yet, go to the Capital Region Crime Stoppers Facebook page. That is definitely a look of oh,
Wasn't me.
Back up, Terry. That is a look of let's get out of here quickly. To be sure, the Nicholson Bluebonnet area is the area we're looking at.
Area.
I mean, we're talking as recently as this picture's from 3 days ago. It's from April 28th in the early
really
morning
recent.
hours. So
somebody should identify him.
very, very much.
Moving on, Baton Rouge Police, armed robbery detectives are attempting to identify an individual in the photographs. He's on a bicycle, believed he's responsible for a robbery that occurred April 20th in the 3000 block of North Street. And you can't see because these pictures are at a distance, but investigators believe that he also has a tattoo above his left eyebrow. So, of course, the pictures are again at a distance, but that tattoo may stand out to somebody, especially if it's over his left eyebrow.
Well, yeah, that's not your normal spot for a tattoo there. Although face tattoos are growing in popularity, Don.
Well,
I mean, I don't want to credit Mike Tyson for it, but
I'm waiting to walk in and see something.
Oh no, total no ink zone over here, man.
Okay.
No, not a tattoo guy.
You never know.
I'll go play pickleball all day long. I'll do whatever. But if I'm not putting 344 stop across the forehead. Although if I ever did get a tattoo, it would be 344 stop.
That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, why not? There's 225s, there's 504s, so 344 stop.
344 stop. Not happening.
John's liking it over here.
No, John's got ink though.
I know.
He's only one step away.
That may be his new ink. That may be his new.
I walk in here, I got it, maybe under my eye.
Exactly. 344 on the one side and stop on the other.
Exactly.
There you go.
Got it under the eye black.
Like eye black.
Yeah.
Oh, across the knuckles, maybe.
Look, that might be.
You realize how drunk I would have to be?
Football.
No.
Well, I never know.
Is there anybody else we can try to? Is there anybody else we can try to catch so we can change the topic?
Absolutely. Baton Rouge police are looking for Kenneth Wayne Edwards. Kenneth Wayne Edwards, 28 years of age, wanted for battery of a dating partner. It's believed that he had a verbal disagreement with a female acquaintance. During that verbal disagreement, it quickly escalated. It's believed that he had thrown an object at her, striking her in the back of the head while she was sitting at her desk. Continued, pushed her head against the keyboard, which then busted the bottom of her lip.
This was in an office?
Well, I think this was in a home setting.
Okay.
But still, Baton Rouge police again. Kenneth Edwards wanted on battery of a dating partner.
Horrible.
And Brian, we talk about this time and time again, and it needs to stop. If you have a disagreement and maybe it gets heated, we'll stop it right there. Don't take it to the next level.
Right.
Okay. And that's like these shootings we talk about. The most recent one at
Amazon.
Yeah. And Baton Rouge police detectives did a great job with the partnership they have to make an arrest in that investigation. But again,
to put the whole case together, where the guy came in, they so quickly put everything together that he really didn't have a choice.
No,
it was going to be worse if he didn't.
He did not, and of course there was video of that surveillance video floating around. But again, put the guns down.
Absolutely.
No one wins in these situations.
Saturday out at the Legacy will be the pickleball tournament. 344-STOP is the phone number for Crimestoppers. He's Don Capola. We always appreciate the time.
Thank you, Brian. I look forward to seeing that ink soon.
So good. We didn't get to the Zachary Police Department one. You want to talk about it? I say I'm glad we didn't either, because you want to talk about face. That is a look that says I just sharted.
He was identified currently in West Feliciana prison.
Oh.
Yeah, he was currently incarcerated. So whenever that happened, whatever he did over there. So yeah.
Okay, so we didn't need to talk about him because he's already caught.
Look forward to that ink, bro. I like it.
Yeah, no, never gonna tattoo this guy. I know this one you can say never on. I'm not a tattoo person. Never had that. Are they? I understand once you get one, you want a second one, but
some people, and I don't know that's the case for John, but some people regret, what they do. But like mine is more, and it's not just some special. But yeah, they're different.
I don't know, man. My wife got one and was like, "I don't see how you do this. I'm never doing this again. This is ridiculous. You're crazy."
Where it is. And,
yeah. But yeah, like my legs and feet are done.
Oh. Wow.
Yeah.
I'm done, but
legs and feet.
Yeah, my shins and my feet are covered.
I have never understood it. I don't judge,
right?
But I don't
right.
understand.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's not for everybody. I wouldn't recommend.
Yeah, I mean, like my boys, have sleeves, but it's St. Michael.
Like my kids, religious. I have for my kids on my legs. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So they've got like the Sistine biceps. Sorry. I'll see you Saturday. Bro. Yep.
We'll make a big production.
Throw out the first pitch. Is that how it works?
But yeah, I think your eyes will be open. You will get a couple balls and be hooked.
I hope so. I would love to love the sport. So many people love the sport. I just look at it and I'm like, this was invented during PE class on a rainy day.
Wow. Love it.
Later, bro.
Always a good time with
that. Okay, so do we have the Bill Cassidy cut?
I don't have that one. Shit, I don't know. Yeah.
Where's the interview? I'm sorry. I needed this for this segment.
Look, do you want me to cut?
Where's the full interview?
It should be 21st. I could cut it real quick.
I've been asking for this for the last 2 hours.
Yeah. So what's it? 18th, nothing. I posted on the 21st. 20.
It wasn't this month. No, there was
no last month.
No, it wasn't last month either.
Oh, really?
21st was the day he was supposed to come in.
Oh, because I was looking through the March. Oh no,
yeah,
March.
And then he canceled midway through, like they were running late over WBRZ. No. Um. Yeah. Yeah. Let's go with that right here. 756 Talk 1073 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Thanks again to Don Capola for popping in for Crime Stoppers. Yeah, Saturday morning out of the Legacy, they will be out there. Keep up with the Crime Stoppers Facebook page, Capital Region Crime Stoppers Facebook page for updates on the weather. They will they'll be monitoring it, and it's looking like Friday night's going to be worse than Saturday. So hopefully they'll be able to get this in. Senator Bill Cassidy has been raked over the coals on the right a number of times for voting to impeach Donald Trump. We're going to have the last time I had the senator on, I asked him about a recent meeting that he had in the White House, and I asked him, was it weird? Was it awkward? And the long and the short of it is, he said no, it wasn't awkward at all the last time that he was in the White House to have a meeting. He and Trump work very, very well together, and they're grown men, and they've moved forward, and they've got the best interests of the country in mind. Well, talking about the president's first 100 days, the president himself, in a press briefing, or not a press briefing, but in a statement, and it was a full-on statement about the economy and raising jobs and everything, couldn't help but notice this little 38-second nugget.
Together, we're going to bring back the most beautiful words. I always say made in the USA, the most beautiful words. We're going to have made in the USA like we haven't had before in a long time. In addition to the business leaders whose companies I will mention in just a moment, we have some great people, great senators. Marcia, where are you? Where are you, Martha? Marcia, thank you very much. Marcia Blackburn, Bill Cassidy. Bill, thank you, Bill. Ashley Moody. Ashley, thank you. And John Husted. John, thank you very much.
So just Bill Cassidy getting a shout out from the president. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but when it comes to where's their focus right now, is it on the past or is it on moving forward? And when Senator Cassidy was in studio, it was unequivocally, no, we're all grown-ups. We've moved on. We're moving forward now. The best interest of the country is where we're at. Water under the bridge at this point. And I think that kind of hearing that from the president himself kind of echoes those sentiments. We got ABC News coming your way in just a little bit. Before that, though, I want to remind you about the folks over at Mathern's Kenilworth area. Heads up. I'm sure you've driven by on Highland Road. I'm sure you've seen it. You may have even popped in already to the Mathern's location, Mathern's Market at Kenilworth, on Highland Road, just west of Kenilworth Parkway. The old school Kenilworth supermarket, this is the same family. This is Mathern's family. It is back, y'all. The family you missed, the prices you missed have returned to the neighborhood. So if you are not just in the Kenilworth subdivision, but anywhere in that surrounding area, Kenilworth is back. And if you download the Mathern's Rewards app, you get access to all the deals, all the coupons every single week. The weekly ad is posted on the app, the coupons. For example, this week, how about a free 1 pound bag of long grain white rice? Yeah, Food Club white rice, a 1 pound bag, free when you have the app. 24 pack of water is $1 off. Mac and cheese is 50 cents off. Paper towels $1 off. You get all the deals with the Mathern's Rewards app. Well, sorry. Yeah, I was looking for something, so I'll move the chair over. Did he pull his bill? .806 Talk 1073 FM and WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Hour 3 coming your way right now. Brian here with you, John LaBeouf producing, and we got another busy hour for you. Ticked up to 69 degrees to start off our third hour. You may have seen some talk either on TV or online about fluoride in the water, fluoride in toothpaste, fluoride here, fluoride there. It has been a topic as to questioning the value of it, specifically in our water system. In fact, there's supposed to be a bill in front of the state legislature this year that addresses that. Yep, there it is right there. Senate Bill 2 by Big Mike Fazee. And let's talk about it. The bill itself would prohibit the fluoridation of any public water systems unless 15% of registered voters in the precincts served by the water system sign a petition and a local election is called by the governing authority in which a majority of registered voters approve of said fluoridation. That's what Mike Fazee's promoting right there. Well, let's talk with a dentist about this. In fact, let's talk with the head of the Louisiana Dental Association, Dr. Sean Owens. That's coming up in our next segment. Also this hour, District Attorney Hillar Moore is going to be back in the house. We talked with him the other day. He had Sheriff Gautreaux and Mayor Edwards with him. We didn't really get into a whole lot of the numbers when it comes to crime in Baton Rouge right now. Also, a few of the stories within his office I want to touch on as well. I'm probably going to lead with that. A few of the stories from within the office that talk about what the district attorney's office is battling on a day-to-day basis. So that's coming up later on this hour. Before we get you to this day in history, I want to remind you about the folks over at the Baton Rouge Metro Airport. FlyBTR.com is the website. FlyBTR.com. Plenty going on over at the Baton Rouge Metro Airport. Of course, I tell you every day about the flight to D.C. Leaves out in the 7 o'clock hour in the morning. Comes back in the evening to get your business done same day. That's great. But what about the rest of the flights? Well, if you visit FlyBTR.com, you can get a firsthand look at them. When you're mapping out your family's vacation this summer, maybe give Baton Rouge Metro Airport a look. Might have to have a connecting flight to get there, but when you take into account everything that goes into driving all the way down to New Orleans, paying more for parking, not to mention, when you fly BTR, you're supporting a local business. When you take into account the full picture, Baton Rouge Metro Airport is not only a more viable option, but it's a more pleasurable option as well. Check them out online, flybtr.com. All right, this day in history, let's roll. All right, John.
All right.
What you got?
Someone called Vex European because today in 1924, the Mercedes-Benz came out.
All right.
Yeah. 1930, the planet Pluto is officially named by an 11-year-old English schoolgirl, Benicia Burney.
No kidding. An 11-year-old named Pluto? Did not realize that.
What? Yeah. Let's see. Empire State Building opens up in New York this day, 1931, as the world's tallest building in the world. Until the World Trade Center surpasses it in 1970.
Okay.
1937, U.S. President Franklin D. Roosevelt signs the Neutrality Act, banning travel on belligerent ships and imposes an arms embargo on warring nations.
All right. Good stuff. Across the board.
Yeah. 1939, Batman first appears in Detective Comics number 27.
What?
Yeah.
Batman goes back to 1939?
Wow. It's insane, right?
Did not know that.
1969, children's educational television host Fred Rogers testifies before U.S. Senate subcommittee on communications to secure funding for creation of PBS.
Awesome.
There's that. Let's see. 2003, in what becomes known as the Mission Accomplished speech, U.S. President George W. Bush declares that major combat operations in Iraq have ended.
Yeah, it was a little premature.
Yeah. 2019, WikiLeaks co-founder Julian Assange sentenced to 50 weeks in jail for breaching his bail conditions in London.
That was today?
That happened.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Today. Anything else on
that?
Yeah.
This day in 1941, Orson Welles' Citizen Kane premiered in New York City.
Okay.
This day in 1889, May Day was founded in 1899. So we'll get to that when we get to the national days as well.
Of course. Moving on to birthdays.
Yep.
Louisiana native Tim McGraw today. Tim McGraw.
All right. Yeah.
Let's see.
Delhi, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, he doesn't live here now, though.
No.
If I'm not mistaken, he and Faith Hill live in the Bahamas. that right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Hey, director Wes Anderson.
Okay.
I like his movies. Let's see who else. Oh, James Murray today. Practical Jokers.
Oh,
Had him on
Murr.
the show. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
good friend of the show,
Yep.
Murr.
Yes, indeed.
Go read his book.
Yeah. Anybody else on your end?
Yeah, Joseph Goebbels, German propagandist, was born on this day in 1897. Calamity Jane, born on this day, possibly in 1852, but there's a question mark behind that. And in the sports world, which, by the way, missed one in the sports world, there was Ricky Henderson broke the stolen base record on this day as well. So, but birthdays from the sports world, we got only one local one. That'd be former LSU wide receiver Josh Reed, born on this day in 1980.
Okay, yeah. Moving on to deaths here. Not too many on deaths on my end, at least. Singer Gordon Lightfoot today in 2023. Miss Elizabeth from what was that? Randy Savage? Mrs. Elizabeth?
No way.
Mrs.
Okay.
Elizabeth.
Yeah.
Yes, 2003 today.
Wow. I didn't realize she died.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Joseph Goebbels died today. He wasn't born today. He died today. So I had that one in the wrong column.
Oh, okay.
That's
Yeah,
my
no
bad.
problem.
That was propaganda.
The death of propaganda, if only, huh? Anything else on this day?
Nope. Just need to know what national day it is.
Well, we have May Day, of course.
International Workers. Yep.
Yeah. Agriculture and Labor Day.
Same thing.
Yep.
Really? All right. Then that's what we're going to run with. It is 8:13 to Talk 107.3 FM. Quick break when we come back. Dr. Sean Owens next.
All right. Dr. Sean Owens is on the line.
817 at Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. So, when did water fluoridation become a bad thing? We've been seeing a growing argument about this, and now we've got a bill in front of the state legislature about it. It's SB2. It's by Big Mike Fazy. And joining us now to talk about it is Dr. Sean Owens. Welcome aboard, sir. How are you?
I'm good, brother. How you doing today?
Doing very well as well. Fluoride's been in the water for some time now, and it seems like recently we're seeing more and more headlines where people are speaking out against it. Why is there, I don't want to call it a growing sentiment because I don't know if the numbers are growing or just the volume of those who are against it is growing, but why are we seeing arguments against having fluoride in our water?
I think it's kind of a multifold issue. I think first and foremost, there's some misinformation out there, and then with the misinformation comes just a generalized fear that begins to bubble up because people are scared that, oh, well, if too much of it's going to be a problem, then let's just not have it in there at all. Which, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not going to liken fluoride to Botox, but botulism toxin is something that we have been avoiding forever in medicine because of the eventual death that results from the infection. But we have some very fantastic therapeutic interventions that have been a part of what we've done in medicine since the 90s now. So it's just a general fear that's popping up because people are scared that, oh, well, if I'm going to have all of these potential lowered IQs, autoimmune deficiencies, neurotoxicities that pop up from having too much of it in the water, and let's just not have it in there at all. And that could not be farther from the case.
Okay, so if there was too much fluoride in the water, and I don't know that we've seen reports of that being anywhere, but if there was too much fluoride in the water, there would be potential for something bad.
Yes, you're correct. And so what we have is there are some studies that have been published describing where these numbers may be. What's interesting is those studies, not one of them has been published from United States of America. They've been published in other countries. And, you know, if we look at what happened at the Senate Health and Welfare Committee meeting last week, one of those studies was mentioned. The thing is, that study quoted information from China at a dose of or a parts per million concentration in the water that was so far beyond anything that we have published data on. It's here in the state of Louisiana right now. You know, I'm right in front of me. I've got the data that the CDC published showing where the concentrations are in water fluoride concentrations in our state. And these numbers are nowhere close to where they are. And then on top of that, what's really important, Brian, is if you look at what water systems in Louisiana are getting fluoride added to them, not one municipality that's having water fluoridated is anywhere near those ranges. The few places that are outliers that are higher than we want to see are all from natural fluoridation. Nothing that humans have added whatsoever. It's just from the natural minerals in the water.
Wait, pause right there. And Dr. Sean Owens is with us, talking about the SB2 that looks to eliminate fluoridation within our water systems. Let's talk about that natural part of this as well, because if the fluoride is in the water naturally, then what were we gonna do about that? I mean, we can't remove it, can we?
If you can figure out a way to do that in a financially efficient manner, right, you will be generationally wealthy. I don't know of any way to do that in any form that will be something that could be supported by anything that we have in place right now within the state.
Let's talk about where the science is, where the numbers are. You said there you've got the list of who's fluoridating their water right now, and by how much. Give us an idea of by how much, because I think when you talk numbers, you talk good things in moderation. This is a very, very low moderation.
Yes. So I'll try and make it quick and to the point. Right now, 39% of the state is being fluoridated. There was a study published in the Journal of American Medical Association's pediatric edition in January 2025, which is one of the main articles that a lot of RFK supporters are supporting as saying we should not fluoridate water because of potential for lowering IQ in our children. And what's interesting is if you dive into the actual data on that study says that there is a complete null association. There's no association whatsoever with any water fluoridation that is at 1.5 parts per million or lower. Interestingly, in the state of Louisiana, there is not one municipality that is fluoridating water above 1.5. So if you look at reading the letter of the law, we are not doing anything that could have any deleterious effects whatsoever because we're staying below what is really the JFK's proponents. One of the main articles that they quote.
RFK.
RFK, thank you, not JFK. You'll have to forgive. I'm between patients right now, so I'm just doing my best to fly by the seat of my pants with all the RFK.
It's all good. When looking at these studies, though, is it possible within a study like this to narrow down to just the one variable to determine cognitive function, to determine brain development? I mean, it's just there's so many different factors in a kid's life, over the course of their childhood that goes into their diet, that goes into their nutrition, that goes into their upbringing. Is it possible to? I don't want to. I'm trying to remain as neutral as possible in this argument, but is it possible to find one scapegoat for brain development?
No. I would give that a hard no. That's just my opinion.
It's just that there's so many different things that goes into a life that to say this is the culprit, this is the reason, this is the why. I don't know how you can look at that versus every other vitamin and nutrient they can or cannot take in.
It's creating a controlled environment where you could actually run a blind scientific study. I don't know how you do that.
So let's talk about Senate Bill 2 itself, and what it does and where it's actually headed.
Yeah. So Senate Bill 2 is, as we discussed very briefly, it will mandate the removal of water fluoridation from water sources here in the state of Louisiana. It passed the Senate yesterday. Next step is the House with their Health and Welfare Committee.
Within the bill itself, though, talking about what it actually does, though, the proposed law would prohibit the fluoridation of any public water system unless 15% of registered voters in the precincts served by the water system sign a petition and a local election is called by the governing authority in which a majority of registered voters approve of said fluoridation. Dr. Owens, is there any way to quantify, and I know this isn't you're the science end, not the political end, but is there any way to quantify how much support, if this bill passes, how much support refluoridating the water would get?
I don't know. What that really comes down to is our ability to try and communicate facts to the individuals that are voting. And what's difficult and what's challenging is how quickly negative press gets disseminated. And so it's almost like I feel like the actual factual information that we're trying to distribute takes a backseat to things which are easy to grab headlines, and people kind of more or less fall into the scare tactics that are being portrayed by certain groups and individuals.
Negative impacts. If this law passes, what would be the negatives of pulling the fluoride out of the water?
I'll tell you what happened in Calgary, Alberta. They removed fluoride back in 2011. They added it back in 2023 because they saw a 700% increase in children who were seen in the hospital for dental infections and abscesses. That's what happens right there.
So when you look at the control there versus the variables there, that is the one variable, is the one thing that changed within their equation.
That's one thing that changed. And I don't know about you, but 700%, that's a significant increase in my book.
Very, very much so. And wasn't affected anywhere else in Canada, just where they changed the water?
Just specifically in Calgary.
Where else do we get fluoride from? I mean, assuming, let's walk down the path of this bill passing. Where else would we get fluoride from that would be able to supplement or make up what we need, what our bodies need?
Well, it's still going to occur. It still occurs naturally in water sources that have any sort of minerality or is exposed to soils. Obviously, that's something that when you go visit your local dentist, in my office, that's something we offer fluoride treatments as part of our therapeutic regimens in our toothpastes. Is something which anywhere that a natural water source is present, there are going to be various levels of fluoride that can be part of it.
Do you? I don't know if you'd have this, but do you have a breakdown of where we have the natural fluoride?
Shoot, I don't have that.
I mean, I should probably reach out to the Baton Rouge Water Company to find out what we're ingesting on a daily basis.
Yeah, I don't have the specific number in front of me on that. I would love to know exactly where we are. I do know that, in Baton Rouge in particular, we're not in a fluoridated municipality here, but yeah, I'm not sure where we are specifically.
Has the Louisiana Dental Association taken any official stance on this? And I mean, I assume what side of this bill you're on, but has the LDA taken a stance here?
Yes, the LDA and the ADA are both very much against Senate Bill 2. And really, I think what I want the public to understand is that at the end of the day, if this passes, I stand to profit. But the thing is, I'm not doing what I do to profit. I'm doing what I do to better mankind. And so the LDA, our 1,900 constituents are more or less on board with, hey, let's go ahead and make sure that this does not go through, because what we actually care about is the health of our patients and making sure that we can prevent things like what we see happening in Calgary.
He is Dr. Sean Owens. We greatly appreciate a couple minutes this morning. Thank you so much.
Thank y'all.
Absolutely. 828 at Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Mike Fazee went on put together a number of bills for this session that I don't want to say they're following pattern, but he went on the fluoride rabbit hole. He has a bill about the dispensing of ivermectin. He has a bill, SB 46, that talks about, in fact, let me just read it to you. Present law prohibits the discharge of air contaminants into the air of the state and provides for certain exceptions. Proposed law maintains the present law and prohibits the introduction of substances into the atmosphere for the express purposes of modifying weather, temperature, climate, or sunlight. Basically, we can't put chemicals into the air that are going to control the weather. That's the rabbit hole he's down. Yep, we're just going to pick it up at a later point, hopefully, and get him on the show to talk about it. We got traffic, weather coming your way in a little bit. District Attorney Hillar Moore on the back end of that news break. In the meanwhile, got to remind you about the Spring Cha-Ching going on right now. Talk 107.3 Spring Cha-Ching, powered by Citizens Bank and Trust, is back. Register today at talk1073.com for your chance to win $5,000 cash into Spring Cha-Ching from Citizens Bank and Trust and Talk 107.3 FM. Oh, also, while I have a moment, got to remind you that Talk 107.3 is welcoming comedian Rob Schneider to the Raising Cane's River Center on Friday, May 16th for his You Can Do It tour. See, I got the voice back. I can do this now. Register at talk1073.com and listen to the show for your chance to win tickets. Listen to this show for your chance to win tickets to that show.
tough.
It is. I'm not even responding. I think I have to move over here. Thought Hillar was coming in. I'm gonna go outside and see if are we up to weather right now? I'm gonna go ahead and move over. No, let me do it. Ah! Yeah, the microphone fell and knocked over my water. Give me 1 second. I'm sorry. Oh, yeah, please. All right, time to get a look at your forecast, and here's what we've got going on right now. We are looking at a 60% chance of rain today. That's going to scale back after the next hour or so. It's looking like we could see another shower over the next couple hours before it clears out, and then a lighter chance of rain later this afternoon. 70% chance of rain tomorrow. As to when that's going to roll through, it's looking like tomorrow in the. Well, actually, as I'm scrolling through the hour by hour, I'm not seeing where that 70% chance of rain is going to pop up. Then when we get into Saturday, your early morning hours are when we're looking at showers there as well. 70% chance of rain on Friday, 40% chance of rain on Saturday. Then it clears up for Sunday and Monday. Tuesday and Wednesday, we've got rain back in the actually all through next week. Tuesday through the end of next week, there's some level chance of rain. Right now, we're looking at clear skies, 70 degrees in downtown Baton Rouge. There he is. Just you today? Okay, I'm gonna move back over. Sorry, I was running out. All good.
How you doing? See you again. Yeah.
838 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. District Attorney Hillar Moore in the house. Before we get to our district attorney, though, got to remind you about the folks over at Landmark Bank. You'll find them online at landmarkbankla.com. Landmarkbankla.com. You're going to find them in real life at a number of different locations around Baton Rouge. You're not going to find them in downtown. But if you're in Zachary, if you're in Denham, if you're in Broley, if you're in Clinton, in fact, go to landmarkbankla.com to get the full list of locations. And the reason you're going to find them where you're going to find them is because they have stayed true to their mission since they were founded in 1897. They were founded as a community bank in 1897. And in 2025, they are a community bank. So if you need a community banker to help you with your dreams in your, want to buy a new home, want to start a new business, want to have that personal relationship with your banker, they've got you covered. LandmarkBankLA.com. District Attorney Hillar Moore is in the house. How are you, sir?
Doing great. How about you?
Doing very well as well.
Good to see you at Rotary. It was a really, really good talk. Interesting talk yesterday.
You want to talk about that for a minute?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
we normally cover a lot of the same, statistically, what he covered granularly.
And so I think the most thing that he showed you the graph of the increase,
Yes.
but then of the decline.
All right. So let me reset the table here for yesterday at the Rotary Club. We had someone from the East Baton Rouge Parish Sheriff's Office who tackles drugs.
Major Tanner Jenkins.
That's right. Major Tanner Jenkins, who was breaking down the fentanyl overdose deaths over the course of the last decade plus whatnot. And we're actually seeing the trend hopefully starting to turn.
Way down.
And when he put up the numbers that showed where we're at for a quarter of the way through this year,
right,
I actually got a little bit excited because what we saw from, let's say, 2016 to 2020 was a ridiculous increase of record number deaths year after year after year after year.
Doubling the homicide rates.
Yes. And then 2022 and 2023 were both on the downturn. 2020
when we began.
23 and 24 were the downturn. And now in 2025, we're at fewer than 30 and we're already into May.
Right. And
I'm sure there's still some floating with test results that have to come back and whatnot.
That's correct.
But where we are right now, we are down by well over 3/4.
Yeah, I was going to say 75%.
Yeah. So your way makes more sense when you're actually listening. But yes.
Yeah. So if you remember that graph, it started many, many years ago when we were alarmed when we had 12 to 20 fentanyl overdose deaths. That's when we actually went to the legislature to say we are really in bad shape because we had never seen deaths before. It was kind of like heroin back in the day. And then when that law was changed, we saw that heroin go away and the fentanyl came back and you saw the number just drastically increase. And then we're about a 75% reduction from our peak. And we hope again, we're at 25% below this year, below last year. So every year it's been significant numbers of a decrease, which is a good thing.
Let's talk about the why behind the decrease, because there are numerous factors that go on here. First of all, the increase is because the market was just flooded with it. It wasn't like people were seeking fentanyl, and this isn't like fentanyl that you'd get in the hospital. This is just straight poison. But it wasn't like you weren't seeking, oh, give me fentanyl, I want to overdo. This is more like someone going to buy marijuana, someone go buy cocaine, somebody buy any other drug out there, and then the fentanyl was like laced into it as some kind of kicker, I guess.
So I would leave the marijuana part out probably, but but pills for sure. And sometimes there are a group of people who want fentanyl, and others are getting pills that they want, but are getting fentanyl, and they not necessarily know that they're getting it because it's in a pressed. But you also saw I think the most important thing is the graphic of where the precursor materials are coming from China, Russia, a little bit Canada, but China, Russia particularly, and they go straight to Mexico, and that's what Mexico uses to make the fentanyl. And so that, as we talked before, this is uniquely an American problem because we're the only ones that are dying generally from fentanyl. It's not a European thing. It's coming. China and Russia know what they're doing by sending the precursors to Mexico, and they know that it's coming into the United States to kill Americans.
Why? Why is it just us? I mean,
Because
are they targeting us, or is it just we're the only ones who are buying?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think they're happy to be killing Americans because of policy and politics.
Okay.
And so I think they know that. And look at the numbers that they've killed. I mean, and not a single shot fired, and they've killed hundreds of Americans.
That's a really good point.
And we would buy it. And so I think he also did a good job outlining, why the numbers are down. And he
So
said,
let's talk about that, because that's an important part of the equation as well. And you elaborate. Go ahead.
So, look, to his credit, he did not take credit saying, "Hey, this is all me," despite the numbers that he has of how many busts he's made.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a hard time as the DA's office keeping up with his cases. And his cases are solid. They're on video. They're recorded. They're undercover buys. I mean, they're great cases, but they're extremely bulky because of the number of people and number of drugs, and nobody wants to plead guilty to anything. And now the law is pretty strict on what you're going to get for fentanyl.
Yes.
At a certain amount. But he also mentioned the street outreach workers that are going out there to the person and getting to them. And then he mentioned Narcan.
So with the Narcan, I'm curious about that. Do we know anything about the psychology of those who have had to have the Narcan before? Can you be scared out of a fentanyl, scared of addiction once you have to have that Narcan?
I think that's a personal question.
Yeah.
Most folks that are addicted to whatever it is, whether it's alcohol or drugs, the fear of the jail is really not a big motivator.
Right.
So our program is called When You Are Ready.
Yes.
Because if you're not ready, you're not ready. You go to jail all you want. If you're not ready, you still not be fixed. So that's a big part of what we do. But Narcan, man, you've seen, I don't know if you've seen it work, but it is absolutely immediate.
No, I have not.
Immediate reversal.
Okay. And so if the fear of jail isn't a motivator, I would imagine like dying and coming back to life would be.
You would think so. But we've learned that those who do take fentanyl, they want the highest of high they can get, and they do seek the dealer who deals the deadly dose because they believe they're stronger than the person that died.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's really a matter of when you're ready. And if you're ready, you're ready. But a lot's going into it. And so we're really proud of that number particularly, but proud of the work that the Sheriff's Office is doing.
District Attorney Hillar Moore is our guest. We're talking a little bit about fentanyl deaths, fentanyl overdoses. A couple of things, takeaways from that presentation yesterday was when he was showing the pictures and the video of the busts.
Yes.
I don't know how to put this any other way. A lot of really nice neighborhoods.
Not only that, but did you see the number of guns that are associated?
Oh, did I ever?
So
arsenal's worth.
So when we talk about drugs and people that are possessing drugs, and we get criticized often, we as prosecutors get criticized often for why are you prosecuting this person, for drugs? Well, we try not to prosecute a user, someone who's addicted. We try to get them help. But when you saw the multiple pictures that he had with the drugs, the scales, and then the gun, because this is a dangerous business. Dealing drugs is an extremely dangerous business.
It's also an extremely cash heavy business. There's a lot of cash on those tables as well. And I couldn't help but look at all those pictures and think, what? Because one of the things he talked about was they can use the cash that they confiscate in the bus in order.
Correct.
Yeah.
So you saw the numbers of seizures of money that he seized.
Yes.
So once he seizes the money, they put that money into an account. And then the DA's office is notified of the seizure. The district attorney does the paperwork and legal proceedings to get the money. Sheriff's office receives 60% of the proceeds, and then the rest goes to, I think the DA's office receives 12%. Then other entities, it may even be public defender, I'm not sure, receive some other portions of that money. And the lady that works for our office, our assistant DA, has worked her tail off the last 2 years and really has an impact on that. I think impacting drug dealers in the pocketbook is extremely important.
So, yes, Yeah, because the intent of being a drug dealer is to make money. I
Correct.
mean, that's they're not in it just to see somebody get high. They're
And
in it to make money.
not a
So
lot of taxes paid
it's
by
cash
that, and
business.
it's a lot of cash.
Uh,
And we do seize bank accounts that they're
Mhm.
putting money in,
Mhm.
and it works out.
Well, and a lot of this stems back to legislation that was passed just a couple of years ago. I remember it was Representative Stefanski
Correct.
was the one that carried the legislation. I remember you were at the press conference when the bill was signed. Sheriff Gotro was there as well.
Yeah.
We all were in full force in support of this thing. I think now we can look back on that piece of legislation and say it's working.
Absolutely, and also with regard to the overdose deaths, that we are looking at people that have dealt the deadly dose
Mhm.
and charging them when appropriate with homicide. Still a tough case, so you need a lot of evidence to show that, and not everyone that dies of fentanyl overdose, there's a murder associated with it. It's rare.
Yep.
Because of the evidence that's necessary for that.
But it's rare, but it does exist. We got to take a quick break. We're gonna come back. District Attorney Hillar Moore's in the house, and yeah, when you see the confiscated drug money go back into fighting drugs, it's not. That doesn't mean the district attorney's office is flush by any
No.
stretch of the imagination. We're going to talk about that end next, right here on Talk 107.3 FM. Yeah, that was where I was going with that. Was when I saw all that cash, I'm like, damn.
And
Hillar, get your hands on that.
Yeah. We get the least amount, but we do the work. But we do the legal work. They do the difficult work. And you see them busted in the doors, and then you see the guns on the other side. That's not a good scenario. But as he told you, these guys plan and they fight each other all week on these mats.
Oh yeah,
they work their tails off. What's up? I heard Reverend IRC this morning preaching.
Praying for peace.
I'm gonna come see him and give him some.
Thanks for the invite Saturday.
Yeah.
We play. My son's in the state championship.
I know that. Yeah.
In Covington.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah.
I don't know if I'll be back in town with that.
I need to send you that too at Thai Kitchen Saturday night at 7.
I'll tell you exactly where I'm gonna be. I'll
Basketball?
be at 1600 Marquette or 660 Marquette Avenue. Our Lady of Mercy Fair.
Oh,
yeah.
It's the Mercy Fair?
Mercy Fair, St. Thomas More Fair, St. Alphonsus Fair.
I knew St. Alphonsus.
The Festival of Two Rivers.
Alphonsus, Mercy, and
St. Thomas More.
Damn, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I need to write that down somewhere.
Why you be making the rounds?
Yeah.
Reminding people to step away from the Ferris wheel and go vote.
Yeah.
Oh man. Oh man. So I promised him I'd never bring it up again. And since we're on Facebook, I'm going to do it one more time.
Okay.
2 years ago, Mercy Fair, Saturday was the same Saturday Garth Brooks was playing Tiger Stadium.
Ooh, really?
Jordan Faircloth.
Yep.
Lost by 1 vote. And he was out at Mercy
that was
night.
the day.
He was out at Mercy the night before, campaigning, shaking hands and whatnot.
I'll be darned.
Yeah. He's out at the Garth Brooks concert. Hey, did you go vote today? Nah, completely forgot.
I'll be darned.
1 vote. Yeah.
And I think Judge Myers won by 2 or 3 votes, right?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Was it 2? Was it 23 or 22? It was either 2 or 3 years ago. I'm trying to remember now. I remember because Mercy decided they weren't going to pay for a band on Saturday night because everybody was going to be at Garth Brooks. So I ended up DJing the fair. Yeah. Threw down, by the way. Threw down. We had it was a walk through 90s hip hop.
Hope LSU can take 2 out of 3 this weekend.
I'm hoping so. I don't know what Texas A&M is right now. It's because they were dog
Number
poo.
1 in the nation first.
Number 1 in the nation, then dog poo, and then hot, and then Texas dismantled them. And we held our own against Texas. We played a good game and a half against Texas.
Yeah. Man, that Sunday pitcher for us was unbelievable this past weekend.
Evans?
Yeah. Look, Southeastern Tuesday's no slouch. They're in 15 RPI. You can't ever count LSU out of a game.
Okay, and I think that the fact that they're that good played into our favor. Like, number one, you dialed out the week before, and that was terrible. So they were going to right that wrong. But number two, I think LSU does worse against slower pitchers. It throws the timing off.
Has always been the case.
Yeah. If you're throwing 91, 92, you're getting yoinked out the yard.
That has always been.
But if you're throwing 87, 88, the timing's off. You see a lot of balls get, pulled foul.
Yeah.
So, tell you who I've got my eye on this year. That was the softball team. When they're rolling, they are rolling.
Yeah.
I'm pulling for Beth.
That's a good lady.
I know. She's been nothing but awesome since being
we hired the coach from Alabama that turned and then turned us down and went to Alabama.
Yeah.
So yeah, Beth's a very nice lady.
.856 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Got just a couple minutes left with District Attorney Hillar Moore. We're talking about the fight against fentanyl and how we're starting to see some wins here, with the number of overdose deaths dropping, with the number of arrests rising, but with the number of arrests rising, the inevitable side effect of that is that's a lot more work on your office.
A lot of cases we want to see them make the arrest.
Absolutely, you do, but we don't. What we don't want to see is not having the man hours to cover them.
Yeah, they're very difficult, time-consuming cases. We work with them very well. We would like to have a much larger staff to deal with them, and in fact, dedicate ADAs just to their unit.
Mm-hmm.
They have a 38-man unit. I have 54 ADAs. So you heard him yesterday. They have 38 people in that unit now. I have 54 ADAs. It's
total.
Hard to keep up. Yeah, with that. So that's kind of where we are. And if we were able to pass the tax Saturday, we will at least able to get 15 more assistant DAs and then all the support staff that goes with that.
Yeah,
and surely pay a lot more attention to those cases.
So coming up Saturday, give us one more time the details of what the tax is.
It's a property tax, costs less than $5 a month. I know people are tired of taxes, tired of elections like me and everyone else. I've tried every way that I could over the past 17 years to be properly funded and not ever able to get there. I do have the ability to ask for my own tax, which I had to do because there's no other way out. But we're hemorrhaging now people to other offices that are being paid more, less trust, less cases. And I have some very critical cases here and a huge backlog. And this is the only way that I can adequately ensure the people that I'm going to do my job and protect the public.
Why? It's a long time coming. You've held off on this for some time.
It's 17 years. It's been since the beginning. The budget has remained the same.
Yeah.
Although healthcare cost and technology has increased so much and exploded since I became in office.
Mm-hmm.
Cell phones and DNA have just exploded. Social media has exploded, and we just don't have the funds to keep up with that at this point.
Well, and that's an important part of the equation, though. District Attorney Hillar Moore, we got about a minute left, but that's an important part of the equation, though, is all these things can help make arrests, but they add to the workload of helping me or needing to make the conviction. The arrest isn't the whole equation.
Right. The arrest takes maybe a month or 2 months, as Tanner indicated. For me, that will take me maybe a year to 3 years.
Right.
So it gets longer and longer, and fighting, in court with defense lawyers, et cetera, and witnesses not wanting to cooperate. It's a tough job.
Yeah. And an important part of reducing crime overall is making sure that the arrest isn't the end of the discussion. The conviction is.
And arrest is based on probable cause versus beyond the reasonable doubt, which is a huge change, huge difference.
Coming up Saturday, that will be on your ballot. Saturday is an election day. Saturday's a busy day.
Yes, very
a
busy.
lot going on Saturday.
Hopefully people can get out and see it, see what we need, consider voting for the tax, and we will use that money wisely.
He is District Attorney Hillar Moore. I greatly appreciate you stopping
Yes,
by.
sir. Thank you, man.
We're all done for today. We will be back at it tomorrow. Stick around. Moon Griffon is coming up next. I can tell you Patty G's back in the house tomorrow, so we will see you then. All right, Facebook, I got to get out of here because I'm recording like 18 different things throughout the morning, so we'll see y'all tomorrow.